Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another instalment of the Now Review. And it's that time again, another release in the Yearbook series. It's been a few months since the last one, which was focusing on the year of 1982. So this time, we're going back to the year 1981 to take a look at the aptly named Now Yearbook 81. You might notice as well, as normal, I've got two different versions of this here. I have the special edition CD and the 3LP vinyl release. We'll be taking a look at both. There is a third version available, of course, which is the standard edition CD, which you can also pick up if you're interested, but it has less tracks than this special CD, which is what we're going to be taking a look at first. So as you can see, like the others, it's fashioned in this sort of book style format. You can see, like, on the left hand side, the ridge where the spine is, a little indent in there, which has the booklet inside, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But the front cover, it's gone for red. So Yearbook 83 was predominantly black, 84 was blue, 82 was yellow, and 81 is red. So nice to see a nice bold colour there. The Now letters are still stylised as they were in the 80s. For most of the 80s in those colours, red, blue and green. You've got the lightning bolt here and the 81 typeface screaming at you. We've still got the little rainbow logo at the bottom there as well, as you can see, which has been present in all of these. On the spine's quite nice, just Now Yearbook 81, nice and sleek. And let's get to the all-important track list. So it's a 4 CD album. Let's go to CD 1 first and see what we've got knocking about here, shall we? So we're kicking off with Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, of course, a massive hit from 1981, as was Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic by The Police, Ghost Town by The Specials, good tune that is, Vienna by Ultravox, one of my favourite songs of theirs, lovely song, Fade to Grey by Visage, this tune doesn't get talked about enough in my opinion, really underrated track by Visage, go and listen to it if you haven't heard it, Don't You Want Me by The Human League, iconic sort of turning point song for the 80s, I think, where the 80s started to feel like the 80s musically. Planet Earth by Duran Duran, one of their earliest hits. Tainted Love by Soft Cell, who knew that was as far back as 81. Quiet Life by Japan. Kids in America by Kim Wilde, that was definitely one of her breakthrough singles. She went on to occupy a lot of the 80s charts. It's a Mystery by Toyah, God love Toyah Wilcox. Prince Charming by Adam and the Ants, never been a huge Adam and the Ants fan, not sure why, just never been for me. You've got Rapture by Blondie, continuing their hit run of hits into the 80s. Lay All Your Love on Me by ABBA, great track, did really well when it was released as a 12-inch single. It's from their album The Visitors, which came out in 1980, but it's one of their last big hits before they split. Physical by Olivia Newton-John, that was sort of reinventing her image of the time. Stars on 45 by, well, Stars on 45. You've got Green Door by Shakin' Stevens on here as well. Madness with It Must Be Love, another iconic number one, still gets a lot of play today. Smokey Robinson and Being With You. And we close off with the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, and One Day in Your Life. And of course, the funny story about that is it's a song from 1975, but it didn't reach number one until 1981, at least here in the UK. I don't think it got number one anywhere else, just here. So that's CD 1, pretty stellar stuff on the whole. Let's jump to CD 2. We're kicking off with John Lennon and Imagine, a wonderful tune, timeless tune, and made number one, I think, for the second time, but obviously this was after the guy's death, which is a bit of a shame circumstance-wise, but a good tune nonetheless. Jealous Guy by Roxy Music, which, oddly enough, is a cover of a John Lennon song, I believe, but a lot of people believe Roxy Music did it better, at least I certainly do. I Go to Sleep by Pretenders, Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes, it's an 80s hit that pops up every now and then, isn't it? Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon, wonderful sort of arena rock sort of song. Hold On Tight by ELO, You Better You Bet by The Who. I Surrender by Rainbow, Something About You Baby I Like by Status Quo, a lot of these older bands still pumping out hits as the 80s came around. Please Don't Touch by Motorhead Girls School, Will You by Hazel O'Connor, Wordy Rapping Hood by Tom Tom Club, Don't Stop the Music by Yarborough and Peoples, Body Talk by Imagination, not one of my favourites, You'll Never Know by High Gloss, Southern Freeze by Freeze, Going Back to My Roots by Odyssey, Let's Groove by Earth, Wind and Fire, a phenomenal disco hit. Probably the last big hit Earth, Wind and Fire would have, and in a way a sort of swan song for the disco era, which was well and truly dying or dead by 1981, or like out of the mainstream, I should say. It's a Love Thing by The Whispers, and When She Was My Girl by the Four Tops, and Champagne, with How About Us. That closes off CD 2, so 41 tracks in total so far. Jump into CD 3, we're kicking off with John Lennon again and his track Woman. The booklet will say, as we get to in a bit, that John Lennon was the only artist to hit number 1 twice in 1981, so a nice little tidbit there. You've got One of Us by ABBA. Again, that was their hit off the, not the Visit. So this was off the Visitors album. The album meant last time was Super Trooper. This was definitely one of the last big hits. Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. A nice little ballad that is. Rainy Night in Georgia by Randy Crawford. For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton. The Bond theme of the same name. Beautiful song. My favourite Bond theme. No shame there. Stand and Deliver by Adam and the Ants. Under Your Thumb by Godley and Cream. Star by Kiki D. Wired for Sound by Cliff Richard. Handheld in Black and White by Dollar. Japanese Boy by Annika. Making Your Mind Up by Bucks Fizz, of course, that was on here. That, of course, won Eurovision for the United Kingdom back in 1981, so love it or hate it, it did us proud. This Old House by Shakin' Stevens. Do the Huckleback by Coast to Coast. Rock This Town by Stray Cats. Can Can by Bad Manners. Everybody Salsa by Modern Romance. I Am the Beat by The Look. Attention to Me by The Nolans. What? Begin the Beguine, is that how you say it? Volver y Penazar by Julio Iglesias, father of Enrique. More Than in Love by Kate Robbins and Beyond. And Memory from Cats, sung by Elaine Page, which a musical, it still polarises opinions to this day, doesn't it? But that's CD 3, so we've got 63 tracks in total now. Finishing off CD 4, we've got the third appearance from Adam and the Ants with Ant Music. It's pretty big in 1981, as you can tell. Happy Birthday by Altered Images. Girls on Film by Duran Duran. Great tune. Love Action, I Believe in Love by The Human League. Chant number 1, I Don't Need This Pressure On by Spandau Ballet. Nice to see them here as well. Favourite Shirts by Boy Meets Girl. Favourite Shirts, Boy Meets Girl by Haircut 100. Tears Are Not Enough by ABC. Einstein A Go-Go by Landscape. Yellow Pearl by Phil Lynott. She's Got Claws by Gary Newman. Souvenir by Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, who were starting to get a bit of chart success then. I'm in Love with a German Film Star by The Passions. That's Entertainment by The Jam. Good tune. Fire by U2. Yes, U2 in 1981. They've been going around that long. Spellbound by Suey and the Banshees. Reward by The Teardrop Explodes. Swords of a Thousand Men by Tempole Tudor. Is Vic There by Department S. 1 in 10 by UB40. The Lunatics Have Taken Over the Asylum by Funboy 3. Labelled with Love by Squeeze. And we finish off with Good Year for the Roses by Elvis Costello and The Attractions, which takes our total track numbering up to 85 across 4 discs there. So a pretty stellar amount of tracks for you to enjoy. So I'll chat about my thoughts in a sec. Let's open this up for you. So the CDs are housed in here as usual in these little slips. You can see that all of them, I'll just let you know, are red, and the text is outlined in the corresponding colour on the CD flap, if you like, or the CD cover. So CD 1 has an orange lining, CD 2 has a blue lining, CD 3's is green, and CD 4's is pink. But of course, the main part about this special edition CD is the booklet. You don't get this in the standard version. So as you can see on the opening spread, it says, welcome to the Now 1981 Yearbook. You get some facts about the charts in 1981, some facts about what was going on in the world as well. Also a little nod to other compilations in that last paragraph, sort of citing Disco Days, Disco Nights, or Chart Hits 81, because of course now the series didn't start until 1983. And then as you go through, you get all the songs, and all of them have little information about, well, about the songs, about the artists. It also, in the brackets next to the song, it tells you what number they reached in the charts, and roughly when as well, sort of like the month, which is quite useful actually. You've got a Now Yearbook 1981 quiz, so there you go. If you want to test your knowledge, there's 15 questions for you there with the answers on the next page. You get some lovely little images of the covers of these as well, of the singles as they came out back in the day. Production information, and the last bit is again more single covers, which is really nice if you're into that sort of stuff. So that is the package, if you like. So the track list, very expansive, as these yearbooks are. You're getting a lot of popular songs from 1981, a lot of songs people will know the name of, a lot of songs people will definitely dance to or hum along to or sing. For me, like, I prefer sort of mid to later 80s pop. I do like this sort of early stuff as well, as it was transitioning out of disco into more of like the synthy, new wavy sort of style. So there are a lot of tracks I like here. A lot of them I also don't know by name. As we get to like CD 3 and 4, I don't recognise them. But as always, I'm looking forward to giving them a listen, seeing which ones will make the cut to go onto my iPod later on. But we're just scratching the surface. This is the special edition CD, which you can get for between, I think, like £14 and £16, depending on where you get it from. The standard edition CD is available as well for around a tenner. However, with the yearbooks, they also release these on vinyl, which, you know me, I like my vinyl. So now let's have a look over at the vinyl edition of Now Yearbook 81. So you can see right from the get-go it adopts the same cover, that lovely red gorgeous hue popping out even more on vinyl than it arguably does on CD, with the rainbow stripe as well, of course, maintaining that continuity. Now the track list, of course, on these is always a bit condensed compared to the CD. Not all 85 tracks are present, we'll see which ones are. It's across 3 discs, 3 LPs, with roughly 7 or 8 tracks on either side, so let's have a look. So LP1 side A, Under Pressure's here, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, Rapture, Physical, Endless Love, I Go to Sleep, and One of Us. Yeah, I'd say most of them I would expect to see on here. They're probably going to pick more of the popular ones to fit on the vinyl edition for those who are into vinyl but maybe don't have a deep cut knowledge of 1981 pop. Makes sense for that to be on LP1. Side B of LP1 is Vienna, Fade to Grey, Tainted Love, Quiet Life, Planet Earth, Don't You Want Me, Kids in America, and Stand and Deliver. Again, a lot of the big songs there. Makes a lot of sense that they make up LP1. So that's 15 tracks in total on the first disc there. LP2 has Woman, Jealous Guy, Will You, Betty Davis Eyes, Keep On Loving You, The Better You Bet, and Hold On Tight. Again, we're still getting the big songs. Some songs that, again, I'm not as familiar with, but I guess it makes sense that they're here. A lot of recognisable names. LP2 side B has Ghost Town, That's Entertainment, 1 in 10, It Must Be Love, For Your Eyes Only, glad that's there. Going Back to My Roots, Let's Groove, excellent, and Body Talk. Not big of a fan of that one, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. But that is another 15 tracks on LP2, so that's 30 tracks. LP3, side A kicks off with Girls on Film, Chant Number 1, Favourite Shirts, Tears Are Not Enough, Yellow Pearl, Einstein A Go-Go, Souvenir, and I'm in Love with the German Film Star. So a lot of these are songs I'm not as familiar with, but I guess if other people are like me in that respect, it's good to include these on the vinyl so you still get some taste of songs you might not be as familiar with. And on LP3 side B, you have Prince Charming, Happy Birthday, It's a Mystery, Wordy Rapping Hood, Making Your Mind Up, had to be there, didn't it? This Old House, Being With You, and One Day in Your Life by Michael Jackson. That's a nice way to close off the album, I think. Nice little tune. So that's another, that's 16 tracks on LP3. So in total, you've got 46 tracks. So just over half of what's on the special edition CD, just so you're aware. There you go, that's the track list. So let me now pull out one of the vinyl discs for you. As you might expect from the cover, the colour they've chosen is red. Look at that, a lovely red hue for the discs there. They have the logo dead centre in the middle with the corresponding LP inside at the top. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily happy with this because for Now Yearbook 83, they used red vinyl instead of, I guess, the standard black. I'm not too bothered, per se. I do like the fact these are coloured discs. I think it gives it that extra bit of flair. But I'm not too bothered that we're reusing a colour. They'll reuse colours eventually, guys. Come on. And that, dear viewers, is the vinyl edition of Now Yearbook 81. So just putting the special edition CD next to it as well. Which version would you want to go for? Well, first of all, if you're a fan of early 80s pop and some new wavy stuff as well, then you'll probably like this album in some shape or form. There'll definitely be songs here for you. If you're not into that music, of course, stay away. This probably won't be for you at all, so please use your own discretion there. But which version should you get? Well, as I said, the standard edition CD, which I don't have, is 4 discs still. I believe it has all the tracks that the special edition CD does. The main difference is it doesn't have a booklet, so you're just getting the songs. If you want to pay that extra $5 for the booklet with the chart information, the quiz, don't forget the quiz, and all that good stuff, then you can get that. Again, that's between £14 and £16, depending on who you buy from. And the vinyl typically is going, at the moment anyway, for about £30. So about £10 per disc. So, you know, £30 for 45, 46 tracks, I'd argue that's a pretty good deal. If you don't have these on vinyl already, of course, you know, you're not just rebuying songs again. That's pretty much the standard price. I got both of these from HMV. They've been pretty reliable to me in the past in getting these to me, because I know the vinyls especially, they tend to sell quite fast and then people flip them for stupid prices on eBay and whatnot. So if you want the vinyl in particular, I'd get that first. The CDs tend to stick around for a little while longer, or you can get them easier. But yeah, those are the different ways and the different formats in which you can get Now Yearbook 81. Is it my favourite yearbook? I wouldn't say that. I think 83, 84 still pinches it for me. It's music I'm more familiar with as we progress through the 80s. I enjoy that sound more. I do hope the next one we get is Now Yearbook 85, because I want to progress through the 80s now. Although, let's face it, we are going to get a Now Yearbook 81 extra, because that's what they've been doing, so keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, that is Now Yearbook 81 in a nutshell. And that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on this video. Let me know you enjoyed it. And let me know in the comments, are you going to get Now Yearbook 81? And if you are, what format are you going to pick it up in? Are you going to go CD? Are you going to go vinyl, special edition CD? Let me know in those comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. But in the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show. And a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, Tobias Krotz, Globe of Reviews, Trev Hughes, Derek Chambers, Sean Knock, Bailey Green, and DSTV New Zealand, our AMTV staff members.